Rick now continues his ongoing series of videos on the Rickvanman channel. Today it's time to catch up with his latest video log from the allotment.
Hey there, this is Rick. I hope everyone's having a great day. Okay, we're back at the allotment. I'm just kind of getting it ready and prepared for the winter, and there are a few very definite things I'm going to be doing. First of all, I was here yesterday and I dug up my potatoes, and they came out, most of them came out very good. There were a few that had little tiny wormholes in them, so I sort of binned those, but I had about a bucket full of potatoes from here, and it turns out those potatoes were the ones which were just like the standard Tesco potatoes that had started sprouting, so they weren't seed potatoes, but I still got a good crop from them. And I've just spotted my Brussels sprout plants that I saved from over there. They're doing extremely well here, so I'm quite chuffed with those, so I'm just going to leave those alone. But what I did yesterday was I pulled up the polythene that I had on here, which I was trying that soil solarization technique, and clearly it didn't work because I've just got it basically acted like a propagator. So I'm going to have to churn that over with the rotavator. I'll give that a quick blast over today, just so that it doesn't grow and go to seed before the winter. I'm going to leave these here. These are the parsnips. Oh, big slug there. These are parsnips. I'm hoping they're going to be great. I'm just going to leave them there till Christmas, and hopefully we can have them for Christmas. And I've also got rid of all my runner beans, which were here yesterday, and they've all ended up in a big pile over there. In here, I've basically cleared most of the foliage. I just went through, pulled out all the tomato plants and everything. All that's left is the grapevine, which I'm going to trim the ends. And I'm going to just leave those. I need to go in here and rake out all of the weeds. Basically what I'm going for is like a bare earth right the way along here. I'm going to run the rotavator through here today, and then I'm going to cover this up. So I need to get behind it. I might have a rethink of this, although it might be alright. We'll see. I'll decide what I'm going to do with it. But I was thinking that because this is here, it's very difficult to get to that stuff at the back there, and I could probably have the same thing with just bamboos, but I don't know, I'll cross that bridge in a minute. But yeah, I have made some very definite decisions. This is the wood chip that I put down last year, or earlier this year rather, and it's pretty rubbish. I did put this down quite thickly in places, but still the weeds and the grass and everything came through. And I've made a sort of a decision that if I have to face the kind of weed issues that I had to face this year, if I get that same problem next year, it's going to make me give this place up, because it was just so frustrating. Even when I did, thorough weeding, I'd come back, within a week, and the weeds would all be coming back again. It was absolute bloody nightmare. And I know people say, well, you just have to dig them out by hand each time. Well, I'm sorry, I've got I've got more to life than spending my entire life digging out weeds. So what I've decided I'm going to do is I'm going to use black membrane, and I'm just going to cover this whole area in this black stuff. It's going to prevent everything. It's what do you call it? Weed control fabric basically, but it's the thick, heavy duty stuff. And then I'm going to build raised beds, and I can build those at my leisure between now and the springtime, and that's the plan of action. Now what I will do is, when I put a raised bed down, I'll probably cut out the membrane so that the raised bed is on directly on the ground, because that will help with the watering and stuff like that, but I'll do that in another video. Just have a quick look out here. Ground is very wet again. I've moved those strawberry plants out there. They can sit there for the winter. I think they'll be fine. And the other thing I was going to do today was get these. This is the big strawberry plant that I planted earlier this year, and it's had lots of little babies, and it seeded them everywhere. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to dig these out and replant them into buckets and things like that. So because I'm not going to put strawberries on the ground in here, not in the ground, but I may put them in buckets in here next year. I don't know, I'll worry about that next year. But yeah, the strawberries got to come up, and I've got to weed everything, rotivate it over, and then cover it over, and I'm going to do that hopefully today. Ooh, it's hard work that. Right, I just lightly dusted it over really, more than anything else, just to break it up a bit. This is all going to be covered next year anyway. I don't even think I'll bother raking it flat till next year, and it's basically going to stay like it now. I'll worry about it next year. But in here, like I say, we've got more work to do today. I've just ploughed all this over. I'm going to rake it level, and then I'm going to be putting down some membrane. And I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. I might have to cut it into strips and kind of lay it in all the right places. But yeah, that's how much progress we've made so far. All looking good. Now I've got to take the wide wheels off that thing. In fact, all those weeds wrapped around there actually stopped it getting caked up in clay as I went over that bit there, which is soaking wet. So it might make my job a bit easier cleaning this off. This is hard work. That's the worst thing about doing this sort of work. Oh, the sweat comes down and into my eyes and it makes them really sore. Never mind. All part of the fun. Right, what we've got here is a big roll of membrane. I've got some more here. Let's have a read. Okay, so it's a 1 metre by 14 metres. That's this one. What do you call it? Stabilising fabric, that's what it's called. And that's an even bigger roll. I think that's 25 metres. So I'm hoping that's going to be enough to do the polytunnel. I think we're going to have to do it in 3 lengths. Take a look. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm going to do it in three lengths. And what we've got is these pegs to pin it down. But I think before I do anything, I'm going to walk over this and just try to tread it down a little bit. To be honest, treading it down hasn't really made a lot of difference. Never mind. Right, let's have a go. I'm putting this on and see what happens. I lied, it was 2 metres wide. Ah, that's good then. It's going to get awfully grubby pretty quick. All I need to do is spread it out, pin it down. Of course, as soon as I tread on it, it's just going to get completely plastered. I'm not really sure the way around that. Let's take my shoes off every time I walk in here. But that's a bit impractical. So yeah, oh well, I'll carry on and see what happens. Okay. Right, that's just not quite going to cut it because I'm going to end up with a gap either here or over here. So what I'm going to do, let's pick it up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put another layer down here, which means it'll overlap in the middle, which means it'll reinforce that middle bit with a double layer. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not because I'm thinking of building the raised beds this way, but we'll see. What I think I'll do is I'll go up to here, and then to save faffing around, I'll chop it off there, and then I'll layer a piece in there separately with the holes cut in it so that it can go around the vines. And there we go. It's looking rather good. I'm quite impressed with that. I was a bit worried about how it was going to go up to the corners, but those peg-ins, they're absolutely brilliant. and they take care of it. So of course the problem is when you're walking on it, it's going to be a nightmare. It's going to cover it all up. So I think what I'll do is I might put my trainers on now so I can put the other half on. I think that'll probably be a good move. I'll do that now. That's better. I can walk over this stuff now. I'll probably go over this with a broom just to get rid of all the bits. But I think this will be a fruitless battle. I think this will end up just getting covered. What I could do is actually, if I get the raised beds down, I could put stones or something. Don't know. I'll have to look into that. Oh, there's another frog. Okay, there we go, all done. It's a little bit messy. There's a little frog down there again. He definitely doesn't want to go outdoors. I put him out once, but it's not too messy. What I was getting worried about was this stuff. It's like rotting the wood, and it's caused by the condensation running down and landing on the wood where I've got polythene doors. So that's going to change next year. I'm going to actually put mesh doors, so that'll keep the air circulating. So hopefully it'll be much better, less damp growing environment in here. I'm just going to tuck this stuff away. Don't need to do it on that side because it's not quite as lengthy on that end. But yeah, I'm quite chuffed with that. So we sit back and look at the bigger picture. So hopefully, like I say, everything in here next year will be grown in either raised beds or pots, and that's how it's going to be. And hopefully I won't ever see another weed again. Now if they do come up around the edge, I don't mind either pulling them out or putting a bit of weed killer around the edge, as long as it doesn't go anywhere near the soil that I'm going to be using to grow the food. So that's cool, and I've got loads of that stuff left. Now the question is, do I cover this now, or do I let the frost get to it and I'll come back in the springtime? Because I don't want to disturb this at the moment. This is my parsnips for Christmas, and the same over there, there's my Brussels sprouts for Christmas. And I'm probably going to move that blackcurrant bush as well. But yeah, do I cover this now? I think I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it until the spring, and then I can cover it. You know, I can trim all this because they won't be there then, and I can move all those during the winter. Yeah, I think I'm going to come back in spring, and I'm going to cover this just like this, and then everything's going to be grown in pots out here. Now this particular area, it's just so wet, it's pretty rubbish. I can't really use this, and even if I do put some of this membrane over it, I think it's just going to make everything rot because it's so wet here. But I've been chatting with my allotment friend over there, and he seems to think strawberries do okay in damp ground. So I've got these 3 strawberry grow bags that my allotment my allotment friend Jim kindly gave me. So I think what I'm thinking is cutting the bottoms off these grow bags and just sitting them down here, 1, 2, 3, and then letting nature take its course, and maybe letting nature, you know, these strawberries just kind of seed themselves all around here, and I just end up with one giant wild strawberry patch down the side here. That's the kind of thinking I've got going on, because otherwise anything else I grow here is just going to be it's just going to be in buckets. But of course the problem is this at some point is going to end up looking like that with loads of weeds on it. So I'm not quite sure what to do here, but obviously any suggestions you got, I'd be very, very interested to hear. Okay, I think that is it for today, and I'm just going to tuck that edge bit away, and I think there's not a lot more I can do here now. I'm quite pleased with the way these vines are going. Oh yeah, I was going to trim the ends of the vines. I read somewhere that if you trim the ends of the vines you encourage more growth. Although, I mean, from what I understood originally, is you trim them at sort of this height, and then they split off in two directions, and then that's when you sort of tie them up. I've not done that. These are just, you know, straight from the ground. I haven't done anything to them, just except let them grow. In fact, I won't trim them now. I'll put this video up first, and if anybody's got any actual ideas about how to treat these fine, because all it's done this year is grow, and it hasn't actually produced any grapes or anything. But I seem to have read somewhere that you get grapes from the second year of wood, but I have no idea how to trim them. So if you've got any ideas, do feel free to let me know. I'm not going to trim them today, just in case it's not the right thing to do. Okay, that is it. I'm going to get out of here, go home, have a nice soak in the bath, because I'm knackered again. That's the only thing with gardening, is you're bending down all the time, and it does your back in. But never mind, I can't complain. At least I worked up a sweat today, so I had my workout. And I think I'm going to go home, and I've got a nice ice cold can of cider with my name on it, so I think, I really fancy that now. Right, I'm out of here, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of the day, and I will see you in my next video. Have a great one, and take care.